qualified with this course. लेकिन I went through a course myself months ago. So थोड़ा बहुत मैंने extract की उसकी information, तो मैंने कहा कि I'll share all that with you. So acting, whether it's movie, TV or stage, the basics are the same. So इसमें what is acting? Acting is showing a character's feelings and thoughts. So मैं बैठा हुआ इसलिए हूँ, मैं बहुत थक गया हूँ. मैं 11 बजे का यहाँ आया हूँ, तो please excuse me. So it's acting is a showing of a character feelings and thoughts with our voice, face, language and body. 4 tools हैं हमारे पास जिनको हम इस्तेमाल करके act करते हैं. Voice, face, language and body. So this is basically how we adopt another character's feelings and thoughts, and then utilize these 4 tools to become somebody else that we are not, और उसको as realistic as possible बना के पेश करते हैं. And that's what acting is. And acting also means living inside a role. तो let's say कि अगर आप एक टेलर का, एक दर्जी का रोल कर रहे हैं, so what would be the best way of living inside that role? Living inside that role, you have to feel that you are a darzi. And for that, ये नहीं कि मैंने कैंची हाथ में पकड़ी हुई है, मैं दुकान में बैठा हुआ और कपड़ा काट रहा हूँ. No, you have to go back that you were born in a household जो दर्जी का घर था. मेरा बचपन क्या था, मेरा लड़कपन क्या था, मेरी जवानी कैसे हुई, मुझे दुकान पे क्यों बिठाया गया. You have to think of all those elements, all those things in the past of a darzi who is sitting in a shop. जो उसकी लाइफ से गुजरी होंगी चीज़ें, जो चीज़ें फेस की होंगी, जो वो सीख रहा होगा how to cut clothes and tailor them, what processes he went through or she went through. You have to go through all those things in the past of that given character. उसी के बाद you will be able to learn into adopt that character properly. You know, or a teacher, you know, you have to go through the process कि teacher क्यों बना होगा, क्या possibilities हैं, क्या उसकी life में चीज़ें गुजरी होंगी. So you have to understand, we all have to understand कि past को समझना of a character is the key to be living in that character. So we have to understand the past. So this is also an important thing. Words are words. How you say those words is everything. क्योंकि I don't know if everybody understands उर्दू शायरी. एक सैफुद्दीन सैफ हमारे शायर होते थे. उनका शेर है कि सैफ अंदाज़े बयां बात बदल देता है, वरना दुनिया में कोई बात नई बात नहीं. It is how you say it. It is how you say it. That makes all the difference in the world. And we'll learn more a little bit about that. So let's talk about the movies first, because I'm sure ये कुछ लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं जो movies में जाना चाहते हैं. तो small natural face and body moves. तो आपको you don't have to act too much like stage. आपको body movements नहीं, बहुत छोटे छोटे face movements is the key of acting in a movie. और वो जो छोटे faces होते हैं ना, वो कैमरा कैप्चर करता है. वो कैमरा कैप्चर करता है. अच्छा डायरेक्टर होगा ना, वो आपको बताएगा if you try to show off too much, if you try to act too much, आपको कहेगा रुक जाओ, bring it down, tone it down, because in a movie you don't have to do all of that. Stage is different. movie के अंदर आपको you have to show very little expression, primarily using your face to be able to do that. And we'll learn a little bit more about that in a minute. और जब पता नहीं कितनों ने मूवी शूट होते हुए देखी है. I have worked for Hollywood for 5 years. तो मैंने बहुत देखी हैं movies को. एक ही shot sometimes 15 times, 20 times, 30 times, sometimes पूरा दिन लग जाता था सिर्फ taking a 30 seconds, 45 seconds shot. कभी कुछ हो गया, कभी कुछ हो गया. So we have to understand कि the movie making gives an actor a lot of opportunities to perfect the delivery, because the camera is capturing. नहीं हुआ सही दोबारा, नहीं हुआ सही third time, नहीं हुआ सही fourth time. So you continue it such a long time. And there have been occasions even from the big actors, they were not able to do it first day, second day, third day, and they went for a vacation for a week, came back and shot back again, that one shot. Or you have to show the feelings as real as possible, unlike TV, unlike stage. मूवी के अंदर जो है ना आपको क्लोजअप्स बहुत होते हैं, मूवी के अंदर कैमरा जो है ना आपकी ट्रू फीलिंग्स को कैप्चर बहुत करता है, इसीलिए आपको स्लाइट मूवमेंट ऑफ योर फेस, स्लाइट मूवमेंट ऑफ योर आईज make a huge difference on the screen. So that's basically what it means. So let's go to TV. TV भी मैंने होता हुआ बहुत देखा है, because out of 5 years of my job in Hollywood, one was with the TV group. So बहुत कम रिहर्सल टाइम मिलता है टीवी एक्टर्स को. स्क्रिप्ट मिलती है, पढ़ते हैं कि you practice yourself, come on, and maybe a week at the most. Even the big sitcoms, they don't get that much time to practice, rehearse, and you have to come and basically act out. And बहुत सारे many scenes are recorded in one day. So in TV is extremely fast paced, movie is extremely slow paced. You hear a movie took 10 years to complete, 7 years to complete. In some cases, some movies took 20 years to complete. So, but in a TV environment, it is so fast. Everything has to move very quickly. If you're adopted the first day, you have to remain in that character 7 years, 8 years, 9 years down the road. It's not easy. So you basically have to start living in that character every day, even in your own life, so that you can continue the consistency the character requires. So that's a unique thing in TV, जो मुश्किल काम होता है, and that's why you probably see that major actors don't do 2 programs at the same time. They usually do 1 at a time because they have to remain in that character. They finish that and then they start the second character. So that's, you have to practice and stay in that character. And that's consistency. So clear emotions, your feelings must be easy to understand even on small screens. ये जो जिस तरह मूवी होती है, there are a lot of things in the movies that we don't have to explain. We leave for the audience to make a call. Okay, some people will take message A, some people will take message B, but in TV you have to be very precise to deliver the message, what you're trying to convey. It's very rare. Some directors do that, but very rare that in TV you give vague messages for people to adopt. It's basically a movie industry style to give you vague messages. Now we come to stage. Of course, big voice. You speak loudly but clearly so everyone can hear you. उसका background है, right? उसका background ये है कि जब stage शुरू हुआ था, तो of course कोई microphones और इस तरह की चीज़ें नहीं होती थी, speakers नहीं होते थे, and people had to perform in front of a live audience. We still do it, and there might be 300, 400 people standing, and for the last row to be able to hear properly, you have to be loud so that everybody can understand. It's a joke on Broadway. You never buy tickets for the first row of the stage because you will experience a lot of spit coming out of you. Yeah, it happens. It happens, right? You know it, right? Yeah, so you avoid the front row or two rows because that happens frequently. And even today, a lot of stage, even a live theater, when you go and see a good stage performance, you will see people don't have microphones, people don't use speakers, and that's real stage actually. And they perform, and so they have to be very, very loud. But loud का problem ये होता है कि when people become loud, you lose the clarity. And to maintain that clarity, you have to speak slow but loud. So आवाज़ जोर की होगी, but your speed has to be slow, so that everybody can understand and everybody can receive the message. People and that also has a history. कि अगर आपके छोटे gestures होते थे, small gestures, people sitting on the front or standing on the front were able to see it, but not the people at, standing at the end. So for you to be able to perform so that everybody in the audience can see you, hear you, you had to be louder, bigger than life. You had to move your body a lot with your expression. And of course, body movements had to be in line with the emotions, in line with the character, and in line with the dialogue of the emotion. I mean, if you're angry or different kind of physical expression versus happy, right? So all those things had to be practiced properly and trained. I mean, even the Globe Theatre, Shakespeare found it. The original, if you look at the original map of the theatre, the seating capacity was only 35 to 40, but the total capacity used to be 400. So people used to stand. Majority of people used to stand in the back. So last row में जो लोग stand कर रहे थे, how would they be able to understand? So that's the origin of it. कि you have to basically be so expressive in your physical gestures also, that everybody your message can reach everyone in the room. That you feel as an actor, and you also feel the same energy as an audience. There is a connection, there is a vibration connection, there's a frequency match between the audience and the performers, especially if things are going well. So that energy cannot be captured by a camera. So what you see in a real performance, if you go back and look at the recording of that performance, you will see that really, I felt so wonderful when I saw it live. And this video is not giving me even 50% of what I actually experienced. And that is the reason कि जो live energy है, कैमरा उसको capture नहीं कर सकता. एक relationship जो create होती है audience और performer के अंदर, वो camera capture नहीं कर सकता. And that's why it's not very advisable to have videos on YouTube or anything for your plays, because it loses the value of the play. Where play has to be seen in live, and that's one of the best actors Hollywood ever produced. Right? What you see in the cap is Good Will Hunting, right? And that monologue is taught in every acting school in the world. Every acting school in the world teaches that monologue. I suggest it's on YouTube available. I'm sure you may have seen it, but go back and look at it again tonight or tomorrow whenever you have time, and just watch him perform. You will realize you will not see his hand movement, you will not see his body movement, you will hardly see his face movements, neck movement. All you will see is very slight movement of eyes, lips, and little turning of neck here and there. It's all expressions on the face, on the skin, on the face that you will experience. And that performance had made history. Of course, writing ka bhi kamal hai, is very well written, but how he adopted that character, how he played and how he performed is absolutely phenomenal, absolutely wonderful. And again, you will not see any physical gestures, you will not see any, and because it's a movie, and that's what movie requires. On the left side, same person, right? Same person, when he's performing on the stage, what is he doing? He is doing totally opposite, because he understands what acting is all about, he understands what stage is all about. He's going out of the way, he's become very expressive in physical gestures, and I'm sure he was very expressive in his vocal abilities also in front of the audience at that time, how loud, how clear he was. And those things are also available online for you to go and observe. So how to be a good actor, and of course this applies to all genres. As we guy named Moeen Akhtar, but people from India might or might not be top comedians Pakistan ever produced. And he used to perform a different kind of a character every week on TV, and he did it for years. colleague by his
I
friend.
think there were total 100 episodes
100
with
episodes,
Anwar Maksud.
Yeah. So, but in 100 episodes, he was 100 different characters, different age levels, different ethnic background, different religion. You know, he played all those characters. So I asked him when I met him last time uh, that you know, how is it possible for you to, you know, to be able to come up with so many different acts? And he said, I don't do that. I don't create anything. He said, I just observe people. So when there is an old guy, angry guy, who has a certain kind of a background, let's say a lot of people who, let's say, migrated from India, from UP area to Pakistan, and they live in a certain way in Karachi, they speak in a certain language now. So he said, you know, I go and observe that. When there is a Punjabi character, he goes to Lahore and observes that. When there's a Pathan character, he goes and observes that. Different religion group, he goes and he just observes daily life, also interacting with different people. And जो good actor होता है ना, उसकी one main attribute, one good quality होती है कि that person is a very good observer. Every day. I mean, of course, we cannot travel to learn all the time, but we meet people all the time in grocery stores, in shopping malls, neighbors, you know, all these opportunities we have. Anybody who's going to observe how this person is speaking, how this person is walking, how this person is dressed, what kind of a background, they make a guess that he or she might be coming from. So all that observation creates a directory, a modeling background in the language of AI. Data gets collected in their mind कि अगर ऐसा आदमी होगा तो this person or this ऐसी औरत होगी तो this is how they will be performing. So you keep on collecting this information in your database, and once that kind of a character comes in front of you, you have some information in the back, and you go back and correct that database information, and then apply it to that character. So observing real life is a key. People say, okay, you know, let's go back to our original example of a tailor. So before you start acting, before you start analyzing the background of a tailor, you have to sit one day alone, maybe with a pair of scissors in your hand, and feel that you are actually a darzi, you are actually a tailor. Think, observe yourself, how you are behaving, and start feeling that you actually are that person. So you have to feel that before you start acting. The acting does require a lot of work. We believe that ऐसा नहीं है, but if you want to be a good actor, if you want to perform real well, then there is a lot of homework. Same thing that we talked about a few minutes ago. To be able to understand anything that you are performing, you have to understand the background of that person or that character deeply. Of course, respect rehearsal. Rehearsal is very, very important. We can, you know, we have a script. We understand the character, we have built the character, we have all the basic ingredients we have, but until we rehearse and rehearse as much as possible, जितना rehearsal करेंगे उतना उनकी performance जो है ना वो बेहतर से बेहतर. That's a fact. Nobody can deny that. And especially if there's a script involved. There are some extempore type stuff, but that's different. That's not regular plays. Plays usually have very proper scripts, and so more rehearsal, better result. Happens with a lot of actors, and I've seen that you become a hit, a successful project you do once, people praise you, and we believe that, okay, you know, we are better than others, and we can take care of anything. And that's the time when we fall. And so staying humble, staying grounded, keeping the same flow. They say about Tom Hanks, the amount of time he used to put in 20 years, 25 years, 30 years ago in his acting, he spends more time now than before. Although he does not have to. He has seen everything, he's achieved everything. He has won all the awards, but now he spends more time. And somebody asked him, okay, why is it so? उसने कहा कि I have so many distractions from the previous characters that I have performed that I want to wash that out first and then adopt a new character that I'm going to be performing. Hence, I need to put in more time, more hours. So we have to understand that it, you know, मैंने highlight किया नीचे कि a true actor is always a student.
Yes.
Truth looks better than imitation. So there are times when people are trying to adopt someone else's style. कि अगर ये character मैं certain actor के style में करूँगा तो मेरे ख्याल में people will like me better because people like that actor better. So we move away from our foundation and we try to adopt someone else's style, and that's a big mistake in acting. Every individual has a style, every individual has capabilities, every individual has something to bring on the table. It is कि हम कितनी मेहनत करते हैं उसके अंदर, how much effort we put into it, and how much we enhance our own private style, how much we enhance our own private style, how much we polish our own private style is the key. So it will make you unique too, right? So अगर आपने किसी एक्टर एक्स का स्टाइल अडॉप्ट किया और उसको प्रैक्टिस करके उसको प्रेजेंट किया एक वेंचर के अंदर, when you're called in for the second venture for a different character altogether, where do you go then? So अगर आपने अपना स्टाइल एक्सेल कर लिया है, then basically you will be using your own style. You don't have to learn anything new. वैसे in reality, if you look at all the major successful actors and actresses, for me at least, you may disagree, there isn't much deviation in their style from movie A to movie 2. Even people like Tom Hanks that I mentioned, you know, you will see that acting is very similar, you know, from any movie. You don't see much difference. What they actually bring on the table that people like and admire and they want to go and see Tom Hanks is because the natural style of Tom Hanks is so appealing to people that they can see him in every kind of a character. That's the inherent basic quality of a good actor. क्योंकि अगर आपने किसी और को अडॉप्ट करना चाहिए, लोग समझते हैं कि good actor is someone who can change his style and actions from A to B to C and D very effectively. That does not happen. Tom Hanks को छोड़े आप Tom Cruise को ले लें, you know, watch any movie. Well, I will say take Shah Rukh Khan for example. You know, I personally don't think कोई आप उससे लड़ाई ना करे. I don't think he's a good actor in my opinion.
We agree.
Thank you.
Right.
He says this
I agree.
Nawasuddin se bola, Shah Rukh ne.
Right.
You are real.
Yeah. So I don't think he's a good actor. But the thing is that everybody loves him, right? What is that?
Popular.
What is popularity का reason है ना? There is a reason for that popularity. So and that is something that you can tap onto your own offering, what you can offer on the table. As an actor, अगर हम अपना ही style adopt करें ना, that's the path that we can grow. अगर किसी और का style adopt करेंगे, the growth is only up to the level of that person. हमारा अपना style is unlimited. We can grow as much as we want to grow, but that can only happen on our style. I want to show you a little movie here. He's a good guy, by the way. I took his course also. He offers a 10 hours long master class in acting, and he has some good pointers versus other people. We will only watch 1 minute and 40 seconds because he's making a good point.
3 acting exercises to skyrocket your acting to become the best actor that you've actually always wanted to be. You just didn't know how to do it. The thing that truly distinguishes whether or not an actor is good or not is how much time and effort they put into practicing and working on their acting. You can't become a great musician without putting in the time. You can't become a great basketball player without putting in the time. The same is with acting. So this video is going to give you 3 solid exercises that you can start implementing today from my time that I went to drama school and things that I learned that can help all of you. So the first one is this. You have to realize when it comes to acting, we have a lot of text, but it's not about what you say. It's about how you say it. I'm going to repeat that one more time. It is not about what you say, but it is about how you say it. So I want you to think about this. I'm going to give you one simple line. Now, if you ever have to go and play a leading man or a leading woman, you're going to have at some point in time a line come up, I love you. 3 words. But you can make the meaning of these 3 words different depending on which word you choose to emphasize. So this is what I mean. A lot of actors tend to take a vanilla approach, especially in America. They have the line, I love you, but they don't put anything onto it. They just say, I love you. That's a very vanilla approach. There's nothing to it. But if you put emphasis onto each of these words, it is going to change the meaning. So I'm going to show you an example. If we put an emphasis on the word I, then you're focusing on hey. You're making it more about you. If you put the emphasis on love, you're making it about the emotion. If you put the emphasis on the word you, you're making it about the other person. So listen to the differences now. I love you. I love you. I love you. Completely different feelings that we get across.
I'm going to stop you. The video is 8 minutes long. I just wanted to express the first point only. I love you. Same statement. How you say it makes all the difference in the world. And you won't be able to say it unless you understand the character, unless you understand the situation, unless you adopt that situation and adopt that character. Only then you will be able to realize कि किस चीज़ के ऊपर हमको emphasis देनी है, किस word के ऊपर देनी है emphasis, कहाँ comma है, कहाँ full stop है, कहाँ पर word को खींचना है, कहाँ पे quickly बोलना है. We all have to learn word by word. So there is a lot of work involved in good acting. Now we will come back to our topic of discussion today, which is stages. हम लोग usually देखने जाते हैं. Of course, it's called proscenium stage, which is basically how the physical structure of the stage is. कि audience जो है वो आपके सामने बैठी है और stage जो है audience के सामने है. And it's only two-way, stage and the audience. The arch that goes around the stage, where we have performed many times in many places, is the proscenium stage, arch. और उसके पीछे जो भी हो रहा है वो stage है और उसके सामने जो है audience बैठे हुए हैं. But there are other types of stage that you will be exposed to. I hope we all get exposed to at least a couple of different kinds, because it will open up our eyes to how different you are supposed to perform in a different kind of a stage setup. I have seen it, I have not performed it. I have seen it happening. Some of them are so exciting to see, and they require totally different expertise. The second one is the thrust stage, which is basically into the audience. Stage sticks into the audience. Audience three sides पे बैठते हैं, which is usually आपने देखा होगा for a fashion show, for example. These people walk in, and people are sitting on left and right and also on the front. But plays are also performed in a stage like that. Plays are also performed. It's a different feeling. It's a different way. All the basic rules of stage acting go away. I mean, you're supposed to face the audience. Now, if you're facing the front, you have audience on right and left also. If you move on the left, then you have audience on the right and the back also. So how do you handle that situation? So uske rules are different when you go to a stage like that. Then you have arena, theater in the round. That's fascinating to see. I have seen it in Italy actually, being performed at the Colosseum. All around, audience sitting, and plays being performed in the center. Just imagine, these actors have to be loud with no mics, and these actors have to address everyone 360 degrees sitting around them. So that's an exciting, very exciting type of play to watch. Atlanta offers, by the way, all different kinds. If you guys are interested, I can share that information later on. Alley stage, which is basically a long, narrow stage. Unlike fashion show, this is basically two sides, audience बैठी है, right and left पे. And there is a lot of entries and exits in that kind of a play. People come from one side, leave from the other side, enter, go back. So इसके लिए script भी different होती है, इसके लिए write-up भी different होता है. You have different kind of performance, different kind of need for something like that. A lot of sportsman type plays are performed in a stage setup like that. Then you have black box, which is a generic one. Actually, the place that we performed at the Lawrenceville Performing Arts Center, they also have a room, a black box available for us to use, which is any way you want to set it up. It's all black and all four sides, and you can set up the chairs as you like and perform. And usme bhi you can, it's a different feeling, different. It's not for me, but it is getting very popular these days, especially in Europe and especially in most modern playwriting. The black box is getting very popular. But again, in our case, going back, this first one, proscenium stage you had, that's what we basically performed the more, and more auditoriums are already designed in that manner. That's most practical also. So, keeping that stage structure in mind, this is how stage is. The red line is the end of stage, and in front of it is the house, which means is the audience. And the funny thing is कि जो लोग audience में बैठे हैं, उनके लिए house right is of course the right of the audience, and उनके लिए left side is the left side of the audience. For people who are performing on the stage, for them the right side of the stage is the right side for them, for performers, which is the left side for the audience, and vice versa. The other thing is that upstage and downstage. I don't know why they named it like that, but that's how they named it. Downstage is actually the front of the stage, which is close to the audience, and the upstage is the back of the stage, which is away from the audience. And of course you have the wings on the side and all that. Or जो side end होती है, just not all the stages have this curved structure, but whatever the end structure is, whether it's curved or not curved, is usually called the apron. In some of these fancy places, they have these aprons that come out, and there is another story underneath where orchestra can perform. And I think that in Bombay, like Prithvi Theatre has something like that too, and other places also. So stagey, again, same proscenium stage ki positions. There are 15 positions on the stage in addition to apron, which are technical terms that stage people use all the time. Actually, this was the reason I took the course, because I said we are doing so many stage plays, and we consider ourselves to be now, seniors in the stage, and we don't know, or at least I don't know the basics. So I need to go back and learn all these things. And this information is the one that prompted me to take the course, which is, somebody, Carlos at the Lawrenceville Performing Arts Theatre came to me and said, you leave the table, up, left, center. And then he walked away. And I said, what is up, left, center? I had no idea. So I said I should learn what that means. So stage ko na, they take it and divide it into 15 distinct parts, technical terms. Or of course, remember कि जो पीछे वाला area है stage का, which is away from the audience, called up. The front one is called down, and the center is center. And then, of course, up the terminology, certain terminologies we have to learn also for the same reason. So if you are serious about stage, if you want to go and perform, maybe in English plays, maybe in professional environment, then these directors, producers, staff of the auditorium, they use these terminologies all the time. And for us to be able to not know these basics can embarrass us. So, we should know all the terms. This is, of course, not all the terminologies, but I selected 12, 13 that are important ones that are used all the time. Of course, blocking is the first one, which means planned movements of actors on stage. Because last time ये हुआ था कि the guy came and said, okay, so what's the detail of the blocking? So, and you have to know what he's trying to ask you. So that they were talking about taping the floors based on the movements. If he's going to walk, then the green color belongs to him, yellow belongs to her, and we can patch it up with the proper movements of the people. Cue sabko pata hai, the signal to speak, move, or do an action, right? So It can be a line, sound, or light change, or whatever. So when we are practicing and rehearsing as an actor or actress, you know, and if the light is dimming down at a certain stage, you know what that cue is all about, what you're supposed to say next. Or somebody is waving a hand, you know, at you, or you have learned in the rehearsal that means that I'm supposed to do this or that. So all these are cues that we are giving to each other, either person to person or equipment to person. Props, सबको पता है ये बात भी कि small object is usually used in a stage. जिस तरह आज फजलीन वो यूज़ करेगी कि कैमरे का stand and stuff like that, you know, books, clips, phones, whatever. Asher will use the books. So these are all props for today. The set, again, the set is a background. The set does not go into the details of it talks about the big items only. I didn't know that. I learned that. Okay, the detail, you know, the props are different because the stage is, a set is defined as only the big items on the stage, like the furniture, the walls, the doors, and stuff like that. Projection, that's a very important topic actually. I hope you can go back and learn a little bit more. Okay, projection you have, it's speaking loudly and clearly so everyone can hear you. You know, some actors might come to you if you are a director or producer and they might say, yaar mera mic thoda tez kar dena dusre se. Because they want to be louder than others. They want to dominate the stage. They want to look better than others, right? It happens. But that's not the key of the stage. The key is not being loud only. The key is clear enough in your speaking that everybody can understand. It's not how much sound you're throwing out. Yes, sound makes a difference, but how clear you're throwing out. The projection actually includes two things. Number one, enough sound, enough volume, but at the same time, enough clarity. So there are certain words you're supposed to describe in a certain way, you know, and Buck and myself, we were talking about yesterday. You know, we were rehearsing yesterday for today, and there was something similar happened, and we talked about it. No, you cannot do that. You have to stop and make sure that everybody can understand what this word is. It's unusual statement. अगर आपने throw out कर दिया loud होके भी, so people will not be able to get it. For unusual stuff, especially, you have to be slower and clearer for people to understand. Cheating out, right? Turning your body slightly towards the audience so they can see your face. So I was looking more into this, how technical we can go into this subject of cheating out. So the most common practice is to move your body 25% angle from the audience, but your face facing the audience. So if the audience is this, and if I'm standing right, this is not cheating out, right? But if I'm turned 25 degrees and I'm looking at the audience, basically that's cheating out. So you may be turning this way because the person that you're expressing, you're saying a dialogue to is on your right, but you don't want to look at him or her to make that dialogue. The stage requires you to look at the front. So you're looking at the front, but your body is telling the message, giving the message to the audience that I'm actually talking to this person, but you're actually looking at the audience. So that's cheating out. Breaking character, right? बहुत दफ़ा ऐसा होता है कि there are jokes, for example. Yeah. So there are jokes, there are lines that you were not expecting, and you start laughing, you smile when there's a sad scene, although you smile, or it's a funny scene but you have become sad as a result of that, or all these things that are kind of a mistake, but it's not required, it's not in the script, it was not in your practice, but you can control your emotions at the time of performing, and you do something jo you are not supposed to do. You still carry on, of course, but that terminology of your act is called breaking character. Monologue से सबको पता है. मगर the reason I'm putting this down here is for the next word, and I hope everyone is going to come on January 10th to watch our two plays. One is Taj Mahal and the other is Tutti play. Taj Mahal, Annie is going to perform solo. It's less than 20 minutes performance, and she is going to act Mumtaz Mahal, Shah Jahan's wife, who is buried in Taj Mahal. And I'm releasing a lot of information here, but she wakes up and from her grave and talks. Basically, her true emotions. But she's talking to herself. हम उर्दू में कहते हैं खुद कलाम. You're talking to yourself. Khud is to you and kalami is talking, so khud kalami. So that's a different word. Monologue is a discussion between two people, two characters. When not a discussion, one person speaking to a second person. Okay, so the other person is silent. One person, Robin Williams, the one I showed, it's a monologue because Matt Damon is not saying anything. He's just listening to his talk. That's a monologue. And the next word, of course, is difficult to pronounce, is soliloquy, soliloquy, and that is the word which is a good word for that in Urdu is khud kalami, which is basically you are talking to yourself. You are not talking to audience. Monologue can be talking to audience also. It does not have to be a second character. But you know you're like giving a speech basically to an audience is a monologue. You are expressing whatever you want to express to the audience. That's a monologue. There is a defined audience. There is a defined receiving party for your statement. But in this case, I don't know what American-born kids would pronounce this. क्या उसको pronounce करते?
Soliloquy.
Soliloquy, right? Soliloquy. So I of course have a Desi accent, so.
Yeah, we learned as soliloquy.
Soliloquy,
Yeah.
yeah. So that is different than monologue, and that's what you will see on January 10th. Of course, dialogue, everybody knows, two or more characters talking to each other. Rehearsal, we already talked about. Call time. Rehan beta? That time you must arrive at the theater. So call time, the director, producer, stage manager, they say, okay, we are performing at 6 p.m., but we have to be at the stage at 12 because we have to occupy the green room, makeup, changes, sound testing, maybe one run of practice, get some rest, food, all that has to take place. For that you have to come X number of hours before the actual time, and that time is called the call time. So for example, when we deal with the stage staff, they say, okay, what's your call time? You should know what that is. All the shots while the performance is about to start and while the performance is going in back of the stage. Who's going to be there? Who's doing this? Keeping a log of things, who's supposed to go next. And final decision maker is the stage manager at that time. And that person gets involved from the beginning, understands the play, understands the characters, understands what needs to be done, and understand the auditorium or the staff also, so to be able to communicate with them on the radio, whatever method. So this is something that at least our team, Sandhya ji, we don't have it, and we need to develop that person who can be one or two people who can take that responsibility. And maybe switch around somewhat the roles here and there, but there is proper training for that too, that we have to do. Football, सबको पता होगा जो ट्रेन है प्रॉपर्ली तो पता रीटा जी को पता होगा और लोगों को पता होगा कि football is When you are performing, you have a script, and you say something to the audience which is not in the script. You cross the boundary, and you say something that's not in the script. And that happens on and off. It requires skills, it requires experience. Above all, it requires partners on the stage who won't take it personally. Right?
Yes,
Because-
definitely.
Because if you do it, the other person will say, well, he or she got a laughter out of it, I'm going to do it too. Right? So it can create this domino effect which is uncontrollable. So you have to be very, very careful with that. Very, very careful with that. There have been occasions in my case where I have crossed that. And there have been occasions when I could have crossed it, but I didn't. Because I wasn't sure how my co-actors, co-performers on the stage will take it. And smaller the group on the stage, easier it is to manage and control. Larger the number of people on the stage, it's very difficult. So larger the people on the stage, or larger the people in the play, because different आपके जो scenes होते हैं, you're changing performers. So if you have 8, 9 performers, 10 performers, it's very dangerous to do that, because you have to be, the team has to be a very strong team. You know, you should have a good rapport with each other to be able to do that. And not everybody on the team can do it too. It does require special skills. People who are quick, witty, and can say things on the spot, they usually do good. But not everybody can do it. When we speak on a stage, we should speak from the diaphragm, which is right here, right? Doctor? Right here? Am I right? Right? The upper part of your stomach. Try to speak, try to talk from this part of your body. It comes out better. If you use the whole stomach, the whole both of your lungs fully occupied for delivery, उससे better performance होती है if you just use your diaphragm to really breathe and speak. So that has been a proven technique that stage actors use. Articulation, diction, of course, being clearly understood. Same thing. Diction is very important. A word has to be pronounced in a certain way to be able to deliver the true message. Again, going back to the poetry of Saifuddin Saif, Saif अंदाज़े बयां बात बदल देता है, वरना दुनिया में कोई बात नहीं. You have to be able to express in a certain way that people would love and admire. For that clarity and a good style makes a difference. Pace, pause, emphasis and musicality of dialogue. ये चार चीजें जो ना बहुत important है. We have to understand to be able to perform good. We have to know, looking at the script, कि इस script में इस sentence पे क्या pace होनी चाहिए. Certain sentences you say slowly, speed-wise. Certain, thank you so much. Allah कुछ लिखिए. Certain sentences you have to say slowly. Certain sentences you have to say in a speedy manner. Certain things you have to emphasize. Remember that video you saw, I love you? Depends where you're putting the emphasis. Either I or love or you changes the meaning of the sentence completely. And audience really pick it up. So, किस चीज़ पे emphasis देनी है is important. And the musicality of dialogue. भी dialogue भी होता है कि जो भी लिखा गया है, whatever is written, it has to be said in a certain way to convey the true meaning of the writing. अगर आपने उसको deliver उसके हिसाब से नहीं किया, right? What that dialogue deserves, then the purpose is minimized. I mean, the delivery impact is minimized. So you have to make sure that you do justice with the writing. that whatever it deserves, and you can learn. I'm a student of Zia Muhyiddin Saab, everybody knows, and he used to teach me, and I still go back and watch his videos. I still go back and watch what he has read on YouTube. There are hundreds of videos of him. There are other people also, Nasiruddin Shah Saab, for example. I love his performances and how he delivers and does justice. I mean, the serial of Ghalib that he did, he himself didn't know a single share of Ghalib before he committed to do this. He had to spend months to learn and then adopt the character and perform. And so these people do justice with the character that they adopt and they deliver appropriately. So all these things make a difference. The pace makes a difference. The pauses, kahan pause dena, emphasis kis pe deni hai, and of course the musicality of dialogue. Musicality of dialogue is, if you achieve that, then you for sure is a good actor or actress. Musicality of the dialogue is very, very important. Maybe one day we can have just a.
Can you give example of musicality of dialogue?
So one video was, of course, we saw. Okay, he was saying American actors usually say vanilla approach, ke, I love you, keh diya, So, but you should know that, especially in Urdu language, it means a lot. It becomes a bigger issue than, I'm sure, Hindi also, not much different. 80% is the same. So, if there is a dialogue, let's इसको हम कह सकते हैं तुम मेहर हो महताब हो तुम कौन हो, it will be correct, it will not be wrong. But if you say तुम मेहर हो महताब हो तुम कौन हो, so that gives a tone to the sentence and what the sentence deserves. कि आप उसकी तारीफ भी कर रहे हो और उससे एंड में क्वेश्चन भी कर रहे हो कि who, so that kind of a thing, if you have a dialogue and majority of them fall into that category, that you can give for me, life is actually music. For me, all the poetry is nothing but music. In reality, a good prose is nothing but music. Especially in poetry, हम कहते हैं in Urdu, हम sauti बनाते हैं, meaning that we create the sound. Poetry is for listening and speaking, is not for writing and reading. Because poetry is written to be recited so that people can listen and people can enjoy it. The musicality of it. And so that this statement comes from that background. कि जब तक musicality of it को समझ में नहीं आएगा, rhythm and rhyme, the rhythm and rhyme, जो जब तक समझ में नहीं आएगा ना तो मज़ा नहीं. You can make a chocolate cake, or you can have a, what do you call it, Dubai chocolate cake, So there's a difference, right? So to enhance the beauty of your dialogue, if you attach some musicality to it, which that dialogue deserves. And for that, you have to understand and analyze each dialogue, each sentence. कि इसको कैसे बोला जाए, इसको कैसे सेंस क्या है और इसको मैं कैसे ब्रेक करके पॉजेस में लाके म्यूजिकल बना सकती हूँ.
Doesn't mean expression.
So before you go on the stage, it's a good exercise to say your dialogues, short ones, not the whole script necessarily, to get going, to get in the mood of it, get into the character, bring yourself into the character by saying, select maybe 10, 15 dialogues separately in your notebook as something that you will practice. Maybe 3 dialogues from the beginning, 3 from the middle, and 3 from end, and keep on repeating that as to warm you up. While driving, before you go to bed, that's a good practice. But before you go on the stage, or you are on the stage in the back, green room, you should practice with your selected dialogues. It warms you up. Physical warm-ups भी बहुत सारे लोग करते हैं. People do push-ups. People run to the stage. आपने देखा होगा बहुत सारे लोग, they come running on the stage, performers. A lot of stand-up comedians have started doing that. लोग कहते हैं कि शायद they are creating a drama, which is part of it too. Of course, they are creating a drama, but that also increases their blood flow, their heartbeat, all that, and that gives them more confidence to be able to speak in front of the audience. It definitely helps in the beginning of the performance when people are usually nervous. First minute or so, 2 minutes or so, is the hardest for a performer to come on the stage. And if you are warmed up both ways, if you're warmed up emotionally and, with your words, with your dialogues, and also physically also, then it's not a bad idea to do it. Walk fast, sit. Walk fast, sit. Breathe. Respect the blocking. Blocking we already talked about. तो उसको हमें respect करनी है जो हमें direct किया गया है कि यहाँ से वहाँ जाना है, वहाँ से यहाँ आना है. We have to respect that. Be heard and be clear. Be heard क्या है जो दूसरा आदमी बोल रहा है, जो दूसरा character बोल रहा है, you have to listen to, and then you have to be clear in replying back. जो stage के ऊपर positions allotted हैं आपकी, and let's say 2 characters are having a conversation and you're a third one silent on the stage. So you are told by the director that okay, you're gonna move from this position and come behind them, pick up a book and go back, right? So if these directions are given to you, then arrive at your point without drawing extra attention. Remember, the limelight is on these 2 people who are talking, right? So you don't want to steal their limelight by acting out too much on the stage for going and picking up the book. You should do that silently and come back to your position. You should intentionally minimize your position so that they can maximize their position. Respect the light. ये ना हम लोग बड़ी गलतियाँ करते हैं light के अंदर भी. और of course के when you have the full crew, when you have the full crew, you have a lighting person that you have been working with, it's a different issue. हम लोग हर जगह जाते हैं, नई जगह होती है, नया light person होता है, you have limited responsibility. So when you are standing on the stage, every performer should know कि light कहाँ पड़ रही है stage के ऊपर. All you have to do is to, to use your eyes to see कि stage के ऊपर कहाँ light पड़ रही है. If you have to deliver an important dialogue, and if you are on the darker side of the stage, even 2 feet away from the main light, then the impact gets lost. So be aware where the light is, occupy the light area, and then deliver. When the scene belongs to someone else, support them. So it's like playing hockey, right? Playing soccer, football. Okay, we should not think of scoring all the goals ourselves. Right? We should not think of scoring goals, all the goals ourselves. If there is a person who is supposed to score the goal, pass the ball to him or to her. That's the teamwork basically, right? It's very important to support each other. ये यहाँ पे American के जो schools हैं acting की, they teach you guys a lot, which does help. I thought I'll put that down also, although it's in English. कि हमारे जो consonants हैं, a certain consonants, which is T, K, P, B, and D, इसके ऊपर overemphasize करना. You have to put little extra hit on it. Hit is like, I'm going to use a lack of better words, jerk, meaning put a jhatka on it, right? Ta, da. ये जो letters हैं ना, ha, ba, इनके ऊपर emphasis जो है ना, you put a jhatka emphasis on it, a jerky emphasis on it, and open your vowels, O's and U's, so expand them, So when you say bout, you say bout, right? So ba पे आपने strike किया, O को आपने extend किया. So that's basically इसकी practice करनी पड़ती है, vocal practice करनी पड़ती है, and then you become expert in it. Don't hit or rub the, of course it happens all the time with the लड़कियों के साथ बहुत होता है, दुपट्टा है, जेवर है, तो जेवर आपका जो है वो it touches even the mic के sides के भी, mic पे भी नहीं लगे, उसके cable पे भी लगे तो it scratch की sound आती है. So you have to be very careful how you position your mic and away from your clothing, away from your jewelry. The respect the beat of the scene. What is the beat? beat की क्या definition? Beat is used a lot in stage. Beat is changing the moment to the moment. Basically ये कि conversation के अंदर you may be talking about four subjects. Let's say कि I'm talking to my father who is sick, for example. मैं कहूँगा अब्बा जी आप दवाई नहीं लेते हो और आपको जो है दवा लेनी चाहिए रेगुलरली. फादर कहते हैं यार तुम ठीक कह रहे हो लेकिन मेरे आज चेस्ट में ज़्यादा दर्द हो रहा है. You are having the same conversation between the two characters and you realize that there is a bigger problem right now. And you say, oh really, let's go to the hospital. So you dropped your medical argument, medicine argument, you are supposed to take medicine, and you moved with the same person to a next level of emotion, which is to take him to the hospital. That's changing the beat with the same person. So ये जो होते हैं ना इनको भी सीखना पड़ता है, and we have to respect each. हर बीट का जब मैं कहूँगा फादर यू नॉट टेकिंग अ मेडिकेशन प्रॉपरली, मैं शिकायत करूँगा, मैं नाराज़ होऊंगा, मैं गुस्से में बोल रहा हूँगा. बट व्हेन यू हियर कि ही इज़ एक्चुअली हैविंग सिवियर इश्यूज, यू लूज योर गुस्सा, you forget about your narazgi and you become concerned. So moving away from gussa emotion to a concerned emotion, that movement from that one emotion to another is the beat. ये basically 4 points or we have already talked about. Fifth point I'm going to, since I put that on the red, I'm going to talk about is how to enter and exit the stage with purpose. With purpose. ये भी मैंने बहुत poorly किया है. Very poorly I have done. Is that we create a dialogue and we say कि चलो जी आपको जाना है, अब इसको आना है, आप चलो जाओ. We write script in such a way so far is without giving a proper person proper reason to leave the stage. Script के अंदर dialogues में proper reason होना चाहिए कि audience जो बैठी है ना उसको पता होना चाहिए कि खलीफ भाई अगर stage से गए हैं तो क्यों गए? What is the reason behind it? What he's supposed to do when he leaves? When he's coming back also, what is the purpose of him coming back? So ये define जो है ना, it comes with practice, with education, with learning. And I personally have done a poor job of that. So inshallah when we'll write in future more plays, if I do. सुनिए जी मैं सोच रहा हूँ मैं जनवरी में रिटायर हूँ, बस बहुत करिए.
एक्ट्रेस का क्या होगा नंबर अगर आप रिटायर होगे तो
मेरे पास 10-11 लिखे हुए हैं, मैं आपको देके चले जाऊँगा, आप लोग करते
नहीं आपको हम रिटायर होने नहीं देंगे, आपको लिखना है हमारे लिए.
So we have to write the script as writers to make sure, define very clearly what your Diti is leaving. She is going to do that behind the stage. Not stage, but in the story, what she's supposed to do. That's why she's leaving.
Now I just wanted to ask one
Sure.
more thing, which I think someone who's learning, कि जब हम निकलते हैं stage से, when we exit or enter, how much important it is to actually begin the entry scene within the character limits or exiting to stay in the character, because sometimes as performers we just leave because just we are leaving, we lose or drop the character and walk like in a normal pace.
Yes.
So how important it is कि अगर script में नहीं भी है, so keep the character lingering on till the last step of the stage.
Absolutely, extremely important. And one more thing I'm going to tell you is, script is like a guideline. It does not give you everything. A good actor brings a lot to the script. A good actor brings a lot to the script. Script में आप सारी चीजें नहीं लिख सकते. It's not possible. And I don't know about our Indian friends, but Pakistani people, everybody knows this name, Umar Sharif. He didn't even know, he never even wrote a script. उसके सारे पूरे प्लेस एक पेज पे होते थे, only. वो तू तेरे 3 ये हैं, तेरे 2 ये हैं, jokes ये तेरे मैं जब भी बोलूँगा तू जवाब दे देना. You know, this is how he did it throughout his life. All the big players, all the big hits, Bakra ke Stopper and all those things, he never wrote more than 1 or 2 pages. That's all he did. But he created a crew around him in such a way, staff. You see all his guys are the same in every play that he repeated. They understood him well, he understood them well. Or there is a beauty in extempore. There is a beauty in that, and he specialized in that, which doesn't happen a whole lot. people should not teach that. You can acquire that, you can practice that, but people should not teach that style. So going back to your question, your exit should be very well defined. It has to be, and as I said, I've done a poor job of it. And when I do in future, I will try to improve on that. And entry also, both ways. But exit is a bigger issue. Finding the character we already talked about, objective, obstacles, tactical. External versus, we have costumes, we have voice, walk versus thoughts, memories, inner life. ये सारी चीजें ना इस character building के अंदर आती हैं. You have to think about all these things. We talked about Taylor example in the beginning, so just think of that. What we talked about. Simple backstory exercises. As I said, कि आप Taylor का कर रहे हो तो कैंची लेके बैठ जाओ घर में एक दिन and feel that you are a Taylor. That's an exercise. That's a backstory exercise. You're finishing in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Playing relationships, status, power, love, conflict. These are different emotions which you play in a play, right? And all those you have to practice separately. Script analysis, right? The script आती है तो you have to be able to उसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं. For example, different actions होते हैं. Playable actions. These are the actions that you play. For example, I beg, I threaten, I charm. ये सारी चीज़ें ना आपको analyze करनी पड़ती हैं. So how to read a scene, right? So जब भी आप अपने script में scene को read करें, उसके time, place and situation को analyze करें, उसके moments and change को analyze करें, and of course subtext भी बहुत important होता है, which is not clearly written, but you should be able to. Some hints are written. You should be able to understand what it actually means, and not said. So, as a good actor, you should be able to adopt that too. Marking your script, very important. कि आपको पता होना चाहिए. Use different colors if you like. Highlighters, yellow, pink, green, whatever. कि कहाँ पे मुझे pause लाना है, कहाँ पे मुझे emphasis देनी है, और कहाँ पे मुझे action में आना है. So if you do that separately and you practice, it will help you in practice. ये video is I think less than 2 minutes. It's a good one.
With scripts, the question that I get asked most often, and I think most actors get asked most often, is, how do you remember all those lines? And I'm always like, well, you don't try to remember all the lines. You look at what's on the text. First, you read it and you try to understand it. You read it again. Me, I read it after a run when my endorphins are flying. I read it late Saturday night when I've got a good buzz going. I read it when I'm feeling, right after church, when I'm feeling in a very forgiving mood. I'll read it when I'm mad, sad, glad, tired, happy, excited. There's many different places where I am personally. I'll read a script, and that means I'll have a different look at the same scenes because I'm in a different place. And I gather all that for weeks, if not months, before I start really locking in and making decisions on what my character would or wouldn't do, on truths of my man, as I call it.
Know the material, learn your lines well, make clear choices, practice like the real thing, and arrive ready in calm. Last chart, dealing with your nerves. What stage fright is and why it's normal. It's absolutely normal. It happens to everyone. People who have done sitcoms for 20 years, they still go when they go on the stage for the first 30 seconds, they're nervous. Ajay, simple tools, breathing helps a whole lot. Performing a full live audience is more difficult. Staying in character, and that's pretty much it. We can do later on detailed courses in selected areas, but I will email all this to everyone who attended, and then if you have any questions, shoot me an email and we'll go from there. Thank you very much.